Hey folks, it's Ben. I'm here on the weather's fairly crappy today. It's kind of rains for 5 minutes, then doesn't for 10, and then rains again. So I'm stuck inside. I'm on vacation. So I said, well, I'll start looking into these mowers I have. And long story short, I was looking at the Honda. And it doesn't say overhead valve. It says overhead cam. OHC. So I'm like, oh, okay. Now you have my attention because it's not just a flathead Briggs & Stratton or whatever. It's actually a fairly engineered motor. So the deck itself looks like it's in good shape. It's not rusty. It does have a bent wheel, which we can probably repair. And there's no bag, and there's no other means of discharge. So it's either a bagger or a mulcher. I don't know much about the Quadra cut system, except they're expensive. So the things I've done so far is I've taken the air filter off to discover that it's fairly dirty. It's oil soaked, which is not cool, and it's kind of filthy. If it runs, we can get a new one of those. It's all contingent on if it runs or not. The oil itself, unlike my other Honda, this one actually has a stick, not just a chain, is there, but dirty, like dirty for that thin amount. So that's kind of good because that just means that it's not burning oil, it's making it dirty, so that's handy. Obviously one problem is that the recoil starts not so recoily. It won't do anything, so let's take the recoil off. There's a Quadra cut blade. It has two cutting edges, both of these are quite dull. It's a weird two-deck system, right? Or two-blade system, where there are two blades cutting instead of just the one, hence the Quadra. They're pretty dull, but other than that, I could sharpen these. They're probably pretty expensive. But turning the motor by the blade, it does have compression. What I was doing before I decided to get the camera was, let's find out why the recoil's not working. And my adventure with you. My guess is this is fine. It looks like it wants to lift up. Set that aside. The fuel line's connected. That's the fuel tank, so we don't want to turn upside down. And it looks pretty nice, actually. It's not very dirty. It's not very greasy. Dead man says, yep. So that kills the ignition when you let go of the dead man. But our issue is with this guy here, unfortunately. And that's just a star bit. So I've lubricated everything here. The screw, if you pull on it, the little teeth come out to engage the little flywheel teeth here. So that seems all to be functional. I'm not quite sure what's wrong. I should probably take a compressor, which is right over here, and blow this out, and then we'll put the cap back on. It kind of works. It's a Honda. If it doesn't start in half a pole, you're not doing it right. If I get that bolt to turn around, that helps too. So now that we've done that, we've got we can pull the spark plug and see if it's got spark. Spark plug just popped right off easy. Tried a bunch of sockets, and it looks like 13/16 is our best. Seems to fit tight enough. This thing shouldn't be in like a rocket ship, right? Nope, there it is. Big reveal. Oops. Not. Survey says it's really threaded in there. Whew, that's a long plug and clean and nice. There we go. Clean and nice, nothing gross there. So now we'll just pull it out, and I already taped the safety down. So we'll give it a couple turnovers. It'll turn over easy with no compression, and we'll see if we get any spark going out of it. That was sparky. Just to the front here. Actually, it's got a little drain port. Let's drop that first, I guess, and see if any fuel comes out. If it does, then I think we'll just leave it at that. Maybe there's some nasty water in there, or it's dry as a bone. Something's coming out. Ooh, okay, let's put that back on. It is a smelly, crappy, gross that came out of that. So there's a problem there. Yeah, it doesn't even smell like gas, and there's water all over it. So let's go ahead and pull the bowl off that. Gross. Gee, why isn't it running? Well, here's the bowl. It's full of water and rust. That's not cool. And the bowl is stuck. So I don't even know what's open or closed because no fuel's coming out. So we might have to pull the carburetor off this anyway. We might have some water issues, so. Little assembly wants to, something's holding me back. Ah, there's a screw or a rivet. There's a little PVC thing there. I got to get a screwdriver behind, I think. Right there. I need 2 hands for that though. So on the back plate here, we've got the 2 reinforced plastic, and then you've got to slide this positive crankcase ventilation tube out. Thinking if I got 2 controls here. I got this governor control, and then I'm guessing I have my throttle control, which is gonna ultimately tell me what's going on. So I think if I disconnect these 2 nicely, I've got the film now to show how they go back together. We can lift this whole assembly off and let's take it to the bench, because that's more fun. But the bowl is, the needle valve is just, it's just toast. It's not toast, it's just frozen. We'll have to take the float out and be able to work that and clean it up. The bowl's crappy too, right? The orientation of the carburetor is actually like this on the mower. So this is the fuel line. The fuel line was on, but there's just no fuel going to the bowl here. And taking it off was really easy. There's a connection here to the choke and here to the throttle, and you just make sure they're both up and you pull it out and kind of unclick them and undo a little spring. And that was that, so I was pretty happy with that. So that's cool. Doesn't appear to be any adjustments on the carburetor. There's a screw there. There's that guy right here. And then there's that guy there. And then that looks like just a lower upper limit stop. But we're not going to touch any of those. We're assuming that it runs fine. So here we go, we've got most of it cleaned out now. The biggest issue I had was, of course, I couldn't get a screwdriver in there to pull that out, the main jet, or it's frozen in there actually. I got a screwdriver in there, but it was just stuck. So I used a small little wire, and it was completely plugged, so I actually was able to poke it through and finally clean out that chamber. All the other holes are good, everything's free now. It's still dirty, but I'm out of carburetor cleaner. I thought I was going to get some, but I forgot to. So everything else is clean, more or less, and ready to go. The spring for the choke, it's all good. Flows everywhere, at least as far as I can tell, so it's worth a try. So I'm going to reassemble it, and that's pretty easy to do. All I need to do, mostly, is I took a little bit of steel wool to the little pin here for the float, and clean the float off as well as the needle valve. So it floats nice fine in the hole now, but what we'll do, actually, because it's so cute, is we'll place this in the float, and then the float drops onto like that. Slide the pin in like so. Of course, this is now can freely operate. Doesn't have to do much, it just has to dangle down enough so that it, when it's empty, you can open it and close it. So exactly what we need to do. Things still dirty everywhere. So that's cool. Clean the bowl off, it's weird stuff in here. I've tried to wipe, and you spray it, it's liquid, and as soon as you stop spraying it, it's like hard, but that should be good enough for now. Hopefully nothing's gonna come off in here that's gonna, yeah, see, it's really dirty. I might spend a little bit more time cleaning the bowl, but we'll, this was pointed inwards towards the machine, so like so, that's a spring choke. I'll have it click in like that, make sure it clears the bowl, which it should, and we'll put it on the machine and we'll give her a couple pulls. Carburetor's reinstalled. Don't forget the steel plate here, that came apart when we were cleaning the carburetor, and the fuel line's back on and kind of just hanging out here. Decided to drain the tank, even though I put gas in it. Might as well get all that stuff out of there if we're going to be starting fresh again. Still have my gasket for here, and we'll put the 2 long bolts in, and then the shorty goes up there, and we'll make sure our PVC goes back on. All right, clean the carburetor. It's got oil. It's got a fresh tank of gas. Fuel is on. There's no apparent leaks at the moment out of the bowl. Hopefully there's gas in it now. I didn't actually check the operation of the throttle, except that it's still there. It's kind of weird through the governor linkage, and there's some choke involved somehow. Yeah, like that, see? Right there, that lever. When I go all the way forward, it goes click. That's the choke. So we'll choke it. Carburetor's completely empty, right? Like there's nothing in any... Oops, I forgot to get a wrench. And turn this over so it's a little nicer. Probably should have turned it inboard, but oh well. My safety is faked out. Okay, Honda, show me what you got. Get the choke off, and a little bit of go juice never hurt anyone's feelings. Here we go. Waiting for that backfire, spray gas all over me. Maybe, oh. That's not cool. I wonder what that was supposed to be attached to. I bet you it's right here. That could be a problem. Wow, let's try that again then. It's not firing off like it should, right? It needs to be just going. That might be it. Choke, and then yeah, it wants to go, and I don't really want it to go just want it to run like it is now, right? Got some gas in it. Awesome. So we got to tweak the governor a bit, because I like mine to, when I put her on low idle, I want this thing to run like, you know, Harley, like the glug, 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 and fast is fast. So fantastic. If you have any questions on the Honda, I was just dicking around today, and by golly, looks like we did something. Have any questions, ask them, comments, please leave them. I don't know much about Hondas. This is only my second one, and really the first one I've taken the carburetor apart on. The other one I just cleaned the bowl and it was good. And subscribe to my channel, Turbo231, for more awesome engines. Overhead cam. That's pretty awesome. Catch you guys later.